Remember the pancreas, folks. We talked about it when we discussed the endocrine gland because it does release hormones like insulin and glucagon that regulate our blood glucose. But at the time we mentioned that it also has a part that is made out of an exocrine gland, and we said that we will discuss that portion in the digestive system. So here we are. In its exocrine function, that's where all of the digestive fluid known as the pancreatic juice is released. Here again is your kind of like a histological breakdown of the different parts. These are the endocrine cells, or your islets of Langerhans, that secrete the hormones. And these are the acinar cells that secrete the different enzymes, while the duct cells secrete bicarbonate, or HCO3. The structure of the pancreas, as you've seen, we've got the pancreatic acinar cells. Those make up the most of the pancreas. They release the pancreatic juice, and we'll talk about the different kinds of enzymes that the pancreas makes, or digestive enzymes. And then there's the pancreatic duct. Okay, these pancreatic ducts, the smaller ducts produce the bicarbonate, and we'll see how the pancreatic duct, together with the bile duct, bringing bile from the liver and gallbladder, how both of them unite and open into a common opening into the duodenum of the small intestine. Okay, that common opening is known as the hepatopancreatic ampulla, or the ampulla of Vater, and it has a sphincter. It's controlled by a sphincter known as the hepatopancreatic sphincter, or the sphincter of Oddi. So we'll take a look at all of these different things that we're looking at. So let's try and understand the anatomy of what we're seeing. This is the C-shaped part of the duodenum, or the first part of the intestine. You can see the pancreas made out of the tail, the body, and the head of the pancreas. The head of the pancreas is wedged in that C-shaped part of the duodenum. The pancreas is found posterior to the stomach. So in order to see what you're looking at, you'd have to remove the stomach to find the pancreas. On the inside, you can find the pancreatic ducts, and there are two of them. There's the minor pancreatic duct on the top that opens up into the duodenum at what is known as the minor duodenal papilla. A papilla is a little bump in the duodenum. So the smaller one of the two is the minor duodenal papilla, and this is where the minor pancreatic duct opens. The bigger bump on inside of the duodenum is known as the major duodenal papilla, and this is where your major pancreatic duct, together with the bile duct, both of them open into this area. And again, you can see it here in a bigger picture where this is your major pancreatic duct together with the bile duct carrying bile from the gallbladder and the liver. That opening is controlled with a sphincter. That sphincter is known as the hepatopancreatic sphincter, or the sphincter of Oddi. Normally that sphincter is contracted. It would have to relax in order to empty bile and pancreatic juice into the duodenum. So what is pancreatic juice actually made out of? It is made out of lots of enzymes and bicarbonate ions. The bicarbonate ions are, again, made by the ducts of the glands, and they are there mainly to buffer all of that hydrochloric acid coming from the stomach. The pancreatic juice has all of these enzymes that will help in the digestion of everything: carbs, fats, proteins, and even nucleic acids. So we'll talk about the different enzymes. There's the pancreatic amylase that'll help in the digestion of carbohydrates into disaccharides. Remember, the very first amylase that we've encountered was the salivary amylase. Found in the saliva, it starts off the digestion, but again, food doesn't really stay in the oral cavity long enough to digest all of the polysaccharides into disaccharides. So the remaining will have to wait until it reaches the duodenum and be digested by the action of pancreatic amylase. Pancreatic lipase, that will break down triglycerides into a monoglyceride and 2 fatty acid chains. Now, these 3 enzymes, trypsin, chymotrypsin, and carboxypeptidase, all 3 of those help in the digestion of protein. Any enzyme that digests protein is secreted in an inactive form that would have to be activated. So these are secreted as trypsinogen and chymotrypsinogen and so on, where they would all have to be activated in order to help in the digestion of proteins. The first one of these to be activated is trypsin. It is activated by an enzyme found in the small intestine, and that enzyme is known as an enterokinase. Kinase means to activate. Entero means inside of the small intestine. Once trypsin is activated, it will activate the remaining 2, chymotrypsin and carboxypeptidase, and all 3 of them together help in the breakdown of proteins into these smaller polypeptide chains and amino acids. Nucleases, those help in the digestion of nucleic acid, and we already talked about bicarbonate ions, though that is there in order to neutralize and buffer the stomach acid. Now, how does, again, the pancreas know when to actually secrete and when to release its juice into the duodenum? Well, it all starts with the emptying of the stomach. As that acidic chyme enters into the duodenum, the acid and the stretch of the duodenum is going to release 2 hormones that we've already mentioned. Those are secretin and CCK. We mentioned that both of these hormones decrease the gastric secretions, but they have other functions as well. So secretin, again, made by the small intestine, will go through the bloodstream and reach the pancreas, and that is going to stimulate the production of pancreatic juice, especially the bicarbonate ions, again, to neutralize the acid. Another hormone that is made by the small intestine is CCK, or cholecystokinin, that is going to stimulate the pancreas to release the pancreatic juice, especially the digestive enzymes. That CCK hormone also stimulates the gallbladder to contract, pushing the bile down and leading to the relaxation of the hepatopancreatic sphincter of Oddi. And that is it for the pancreas.